just made the list!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is episode, what is it, six? Of the, what is the fucking show called? The Idiot's List of Pro Wrestling. Your host, Dirty Robin Gal, and the real John Atkins.
That's what we call it, the Idiot's List.
That's right. That's the name of the fucking show. You ever like when you used to have a home phone?
It's not the Genius List.
Yeah, it's definitely not Genius List. Somebody call you at home, you like answer like you were at work or some shit.
Oh yeah.
You ever do that? That's the moment I just had right there. This episode is the top 5 Extreme Championship wrestlers of all time. ECW. This is one of the hardest ones. Also one of the most commented ones when we put out the list. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, because we put it out kind of late. We usually put it out like on Monday or so, but we put it out today, and holy shit, people fucking bored, I guess.
Well, no, man, it's because we're cool as shit.
Oh, yeah.
How about it? ECW, my favorite promotion of all time, by far. I have watched everything that they've put out, everything that's on the WWE Network, stuff that hasn't been put out on the WWE Network. ECW is a very monumental and influential wrestling promotion for me. I know you didn't see it all definitely while it was happening. I know that you know a lot about it. You know a lot about it.
Yeah, more playing catch up on it. You know, I guess I just got exposed to it a little bit later. How did you find out about ECW? Because it wasn't like
it wasn't mainstream,
right,
at all. You had to find it,
right.
So there was a radio show by the name of The Stranglehold, hosted by Brian Stull, on 590 KFNS in St. Louis. And I actually won tickets to ECW's Heatwave 98 in Dayton, Ohio. And my mom was going to take me, and then she didn't. So she let me buy the pay-per-view then.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I caught on late, too.
So you won the tickets and you didn't even know, like, what exactly you just knew it was wrestling?
I just knew it was wrestling.
Right.
There's not really a whole lot of internet. 14?
I mean, yeah, that's probably appropriate.
Just turned 15.
Yeah. You're old now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I had been backyard wrestling a little bit at that point, and I remember when we watched it, it was the summer right before my freshman year of high school. So I just got out of 8th grade.
Oh,
I already busted my nut.
Oh, okay.
I already popped my cherry. So I was no longer virgin, and then I found out about ECW.
Yeah, because, I mean, I could just picture if you were, like, just a little bit younger, like 9, 10 years old, and like, oh, I want to go watch wrestling and see fucking blood and guts everywhere and shit.
Well, this was back in the day, this is really before the internet was, as big as it was, you couldn't see any videos.
Right.
And unless you were reading the magazines, you really didn't know a whole lot about ECW. Used to be Eastern Championship Wrestling, changed its name to Extreme Championship Wrestling in 1994. Was run by a promoter up in the Northeast by the name of Todd Gordon. Paul Heyman came on as the booker in 1993. Shortly after him and WCW had a big falling out. And, it revolutionized the way that people saw wrestling. It's the most copied wrestling promotion ever.
Right.
WCW, WWF ripped so much shit from there. It really had like a hardcore fan base. And, they did small venues, they didn't do arenas.
Hardcore, emphasis on hardcore for sure. Yeah, because I think the first time I heard about ECW is when I used to go to, like, the grocery store with my mom. And, like, while she's shopping, I would just sit there and read magazines and shit.
Yeah.
And I saw, like, a picture of, like, Sabu, like, flying through the air. And then, like, like Sandman, like, covered in blood and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Right, right.
Because this is still...
It wasn't anything like WWF or WCW.
Because this is still, like, the cartoon era of WWF, basically, when they thought everyone was like a dumpster or a fucking they had a tax man and shit,
garbage man, yeah. IRS,
right, or a Native American, or whatever, dude. But everyone had like a gimmick, a clown, and then like so that's what I got used to. And then I flipped through this magazine, I see like blood everywhere. I was like, what the fuck is this? And that's basically how I found out about ECW.
And what Paul Heyman always had his finger on the pulse of was what was next. He's somebody that I took that from him, looking 5 years ahead. Trying to see where trends are going.
Right.
And anybody, out of everybody in the history of professional wrestling, in my opinion, nobody did it better than him. Nobody Nobody, took a wrestler and saw the absolute best out of them and hid what their shortcomings,
right,
and emphasized their strengths.
That's some Bill Belichick shit,
For sure.
Like, don't be so stubborn that you got to do it your way. You got to fucking build up the strengths of your people and hide their weaknesses,
Right. Well, you want to know what everybody's good at. Why would you want anybody going out there and doing moves that they sucked at? That was something I learned in wrestling school. Is there's a bazillion moves. If you don't do something that good, don't fucking do it.
Right.
If you can't do the big Hogan boot, don't fucking do it. If your punches look like shit, do chops or something. Or fucking do some sort of other strike with your hands.
Or if you're 300 pounds, don't do a shooting star press.
Unless you're good at it.
At WrestleMania.
Brock Lesnar. No, dude, that was his finisher. In all of OVW, that was his finisher. I saw him at the 2001 Brian Pillman Memorial Show in Cincinnati, and fucking he hit the shooting star there.
That's fucking, seeing it laid on his head makes me want to fucking puke, dude. That's fucking,
Well, I knew he had that in the arsenal. But getting back to ECW, there was so many characters that would define ECW,
right.
And there were so many people that got their start in ECW. Let's just go over a short amount. Hold on. We're doing this whole show differently. This episode is going to be, we didn't write a list. We're going to come up with a list as we talk. We're going to debate about it, and then come up with the list at the end. How about it, right? Because there's so many people. Look, these are people that didn't make my list. They got their start, basically, got noticed on a global level. I feel like
the first time people knew who they were.
Well, or they showed who they were. Okay. Chris Jericho, Steve Austin, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Rhino. These were guys that really had their best time in ECW because you felt like they were stars. Chris Jericho. This was he's the only one, but Austin was part of the Hollywood Blondes,
right? Before
he got he did his
which were successful in WCW,
right? But it wasn't like Stone Cold started in ECW.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even Stone Cold; it was just Steve Austin.
Right.
But where he
still had the hair,
got the confidence and shit, dude. He shaved his head in ECW.
Yeah.
It's where he built that confidence. And it isn't until you have somebody that can coach you the right way do you really see your full potential.
Okay.
That's what I try to do with Fist Combat. Is I try to get in the ear of the guys and gals that we're using to make the whole promotion off of, and really get in their ear and tell them how important and how appreciated they are. But at the same time, you got to realize you're a fucking star.
Right.
Dude, you're a star. Austin, you're whatever something was fucked up shoulders.
Because he was just cutting promos.
That's right. And he was like, no, I'll just pay you to come in and cut promos. And the motherfucker got all fucked up, whatever, fucking went out there and started cutting those promos. And you're just like, whoa, this is a different person.
How long was Austin in ECW?
Dude, 5 months.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't that long.
No, dude, no. But how monumental that 5 months was. Right. Looking back on it, that's where Stone Cold Steve Austin started.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Guys like Dean Malenko, Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis. These were guys that were seen on a global level in America for the first time, and then quickly, boom, got nabbed up within 6 months of being there to WCW.
What do you think about that Psychosis Rey Mysterio match when they first came?
Which one?
No, the first one when they first came.
Which one? All three of them, dude. That is, that's another thing I wrote down on here. Feuds, the monumental feuds in ECW. Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, RVD, Sabu Taz, Masato Tanaka, Mike Awesome, Raven and Dreamer. These are feuds that Rey Mysterio and Psychosis was feud of the year. I think 95 might have been Dreamer and Raven. Or no, 95 it was Raven and Psychosis. Raven and Dreamer was a monumental feud. It was a 2.5-year feud where Raven was the outcast, and Tommy Dreamer was the jock, and fucking Tommy Dreamer ended up stealing Raven's girl and all this shit. And it was a 2-year feud where Raven just stuck it to Tommy Dreamer and beat him every time. Tommy Dreamer could never pin Raven. And then finally on Raven's last night in ECW, Dreamer gets the pin. Oh, what a fucking, and just the storylines. It was the first time that they had a pregnancy angle, I believe, in wrestling was in ECW with Dreamer impregnating Raven's girlfriend. It was just like it's such.
If our buddy's scared to bring his girl to Fist Combat, you can imagine if he brought her to ECW.
Bro, he brought a girl to ECW. She was getting fucking knocked out, dog. Old dude don't listen to this podcast anyway. Hopefully.
You know his girlfriend's name was Sunny?
Really?
No.
Did you see Sonny's racist tweet?
No, was it good?
White power, hashtag white power. Done. Yeah.
No, she
done, dude. Yeah, this is hashtag white power.
Powder?
Power, white power. That's what you did there. How about it?
Dumbass! We should do a dumbass of the week, dude.
It's gonna be Randy Orton every week. It's gonna be Randy Orton every week. But dude, like fucking ECW, like made stars. They there were so many guys that like they were great outside of ECW, but when they were in ECW, you just felt like they were fucking everybody. So many guys felt like Hulk Hogan. I think that's why so many people that commented on our post this week were like, it's so hard to pick because so many like you're like, wow, like ECW only existed not even 7 years as Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Let's go back how it started because it used to be like Eastern Championship Wrestling, right?
So Todd Gordon was running the promotion out of Philly. I don't know how big their territory was, but they were like an offshoot of the NWA. They were the NWA Eastern Championship Wrestling. Paul Heyman came in. In '94, there was an NWA title tournament because they were throwing around the NWA title like Sonny in a locker room in the '90s. It was going everywhere. What's up? Hashtag white power. So how about it? So Shane Douglas wins the title. Paul Heyman does his fucking little fucking hustle, gets Shane Douglas to win the title. Shane Douglas throws on the NWA title. He said, "This is in the Eastern Championship Wrestling. This isn't the NWA title. This is the Extreme Championship Wrestling title." And he was the first ever ECW champion. So they broke off with the NWA.
One of the best promos ever, too.
Hopefully you would put the fucking nail in the coffin of NWA after that, but they kept revising it.
Right.
Kept bringing it back.
Weirdly enough, does Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins still own it?
He owns it, yeah. They run episodes that they do out of Atlanta.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Billy Corgan. That's weird. That's still weird to me.
It's still weird to everybody. But,
that's one of the best promos of all time, too, right? Shane Douglas.
It was great. It was monumental because of like what it stood for. It was like back then it still meant something to throw down a title.
Right.
It wasn't the first time anything like that had happened in history, but like it was one of the last major one, I guess. Like, what else would you even consider? Like when Alundra Blaze did it on WCW, like
in the trash
I mean, it was a women's title, so it's only 70% as effective as any other title that men hold, right? That's a joke, unless you don't want it to be.
Because it's a smaller title, right?
That's right. Well, it's 70% of the size.
Yeah.
70% of the impact. So, it wasn't very popular to do that back in the day, and they really made a statement. They were like, you know what, we're our own fucking thing. Right. And that's because, they were selling out the ECW arena every fucking 2 weeks,
and no one was in on it either, right? It was just Heyman and Douglas were the only ones in on it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's pretty fucking cool, though.
But yeah, so ECW reigned from like middle of '94 as the Extreme Championship Wrestling till January of 2001. I went to the second to last ever ECW show in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. I was there, and that was the only time I got to see it live. But I mean, just talk about like the environment, how fucking like wild it was. Like, in going back and watching it now and knowing what I know about producing live or wrestling to video content, ECW TV always had piped in sound. They always piped in crowd sound through the fucking through the broadcast. So it always sounded like it was loud. But I didn't even realize this till like within the last year. And I watched every episode of ECW TV.
No shit.
A couple times.
So those crowds were fucking hot. So that's
they were because you thought they were because it sounded like they were.
right.
But when you hear the crowd noise and you look at the crowd, you're like, wait a second, they're not all up and cheering shit. They're fucking like they're piping. Now, like that's just genius.
Right. It definitely works. It conveyed like the feeling you wanted to get
right.
on TV. Yeah.
That's why. To me, it was so inspirational because of just the environment and the way they did everything and the way they put the whole package together. You were like, I want to be there.
Right.
I want to be a part of this thing. And then you start hearing stories about how the locker rooms is a fucking big old party. And you're like, wait a second.
Really?
This is what I got into wrestling right there. So,
Chris Candido, baby. I don't know why that's like a recurring theme on this podcast.
What, Chris Candido?
Yeah, it was whatever. Recurring theme.
We need to get Sonny out here to fist down there.
Not now, shit.
Why power? She could be a Randy Orton. By the way, Drive-In Wrestling 3.
Triple X champion.
Yeah, that's right. What a cunt. So, let's see. Here, what I did, and we've already talked a little bit about some of the feuds. So a lot of the guys got noticed in ECW. But it was really hard for me to come up with a list. So that's why I wanted to debate it with you a little bit. To figure out, like, who is the top 5. Because guys that got their name from there, guys that represented it, how do you figure it out? Like when you think ECW, who are the top 5 guys? Like, I couldn't even really come up with a list of 5. Like, it's so hard. I couldn't even come up with a list of 10. So here's what I got. I got RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, New Jack, the Dudley Boys, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven, Too Cold, Scorpio, Cactus Jack, and Terry Funk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
Yeah.
12 wrestlers or in the Dudley Boys instance, a tag team that were like, when I think ECW, like that's my top 12.
Well, I didn't go to 12, but if I just started at 1, like my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you did that.
Well, I had some, but like, just well.
If you have your list done, let's debate it and do.
Yeah. Well, I want to see where we match up on.
Okay.
So do you still want to start at 5?
Oh no, I didn't. I'm saying I didn't even write a list.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just went through.
I have 12 guys that I want to talk about right now,
okay.
And then I'll come up with my list at the very end.
All right, that sounds
because so when I read some of these lists, I was like, wow, like some of them were very comprehensive. Nick Lovins was all WWF's ECW.
Oh, like the new guys? Well, not new guys, but like
he said like Vince McMahon, Bobby Lashley, CM Punk, Kevin Thorne. Guys that were WWE, ECW.
Goldust.
Was Goldust in ECW?
I thought he was for a second. No?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let me find.
That's fucking hilarious.
Dude, like, it was so much fun making this list. So there's 12 guys right there. Like, it's going to be really hard for me to come up with a top 5 because...
We should go back, but we should start at number 1 this time. Just because.
I don't even have a number 1. Like so everybody on my top 5 could be a number 1, and I don't even have a top 5. Like, I don't know. Like, each one of those guys that I just named could be number 1 on my list. Like, every one of those 12 could be number 1 on my list. That, like, there's not even like, like, okay, let's take off guys that would like be number 2 through 5. Okay, so I'll take out 2. Where's it? 10. I'll take out Too Cold Scorpio. Man, I can't even like fucking. Who do I even take out? Okay, I'll take out Terry Funk because he was an NWA champion.
Okay.
He more or less like helped ECW to get some national recognition.
So you think of him more NWA than ECW?
More NWA, more WCW than ECW. Yeah. Even though Terry Funk won the heavyweight championship on their first ever pay-per-view.
You don't think of him as Chainsaw Charlie? No.
I do. I kind of do. But I mean, fucking Chainsaw Charlie. See, like, but
How about it?
Who do you even like take off the list? Like Shane Douglas could. Okay,
he's got to be on there.
Oh, for sure. But like, then who do you take off? That's the question. Like, of all these 12, like RVD, he was arguably the biggest star to come out of ECW because he became WWE champion.
Right.
I believe he was the only wrestler besides Cactus Jack who really started in WCW and got the most famous in WWF. So I guess I could take him off my list of ECW guys.
Shane Douglas was IC champion for a while, right?
For a hot second. But like, okay. I'll say, so I take off Too Cold Scorpio, Cactus Jack, Terry Funk. Here's what I got left. RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, New Jack, Dudley Boy, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. Who do I take off after that? Like, who's not on the top 5? RVD, arguably the biggest star. He's the only one that became WWF champion. Sabu, when you talk about people that put ECW on the map, how could you not have Sabu as your number 1 through 3?
Right, because like even when I would just like flip through the magazines, I would always picture Sabu. Or like when you would see like any sort of like video clip or montage for ECW, it was always like Sabu flying through the air or whatever.
Of course,
he like Sabu like flying through the air is like their equivalent of like Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre. It's like
for sure.
At the beginning of every fucking video package.
For sure.
You know?
And why wouldn't it be? The motherfucker was a goddamn legend. He's a stunt man. You know, like the motherfucker would jump out of the ring, over the guardrails, through tables and shit. Motherfucker was like the inventor of using tables in the United States, and he's a racist. He's racist.
White powder.
White powder. Hashtag white powder. Okay, here's who's on my list also. The Sandman. How can you take the Sandman off? Sandman was the ECW champion the most amount of times. Like, he was the one that was champion the most.
Did you say Rhino?
Rhino's not on my list.
Not on your list?
No, because, you know, like, he was the guy that got his start. He got more popular in WWF than he did in ECW, and he was only there at the very end, like the last year.
The last year of ECW.
Yeah. Here's who's also on my list: Tommy Dreamer. He's Mr. ECW. When you think of ECW, how is Tommy Dreamer? Tommy Dreamer could easily be number 1 on your list, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
As far as like guys that were. That motherfucker was there when ECW started.
What's your most memorable Tommy Dreamer moment, either promo or match in ECW?
I guess when he finally beat Raven.
Oh, okay, at the end.
When he finally beat Raven. So Tommy Dreamer was a guy who was always there but never had to be the spotlight. He won the championship for like literally 3 minutes. He was a guy that never needed a championship, but he was a guy you could always trust on. He's a very sympathetic character. He's somebody that was like, you know what? If somebody had a tattoo on their chest, ECW would be that motherfucker.
Oh, okay.
How is New Jack not on your top 5 list? When you think of like the biggest stunts in ECW, New Jack. Why did you just make a face?
No.
Okay. But right, like who did the biggest craziest shit in ECW? New Jack, the Dudley Boys. Like they won the tag team championships the most out of anybody, and they were like one of the most monumental tag teams in the history of wrestling.
Yeah, I had Dudley Boys. Like even I didn't know if you were gonna put them on there, but I put them like on there just because like yeah they count to me like as one. You know, basically.
For sure. Shane Douglas, the guy who threw the fucking title down. How's he not on the Taz? Arguably the biggest star that ECW made, in the sense that he was almost nothing outside of ECW, but when he was in ECW, he was the man. He was the man. He was like the star that ECW made. How's he not on your list? And then Raven?
He's like Samoa Joe Sr.
Or Junior, because I think Joe's bigger.
No, I just meant how Samoa Joe is hot.
Samoa Joe is a watered down Taz.
Yeah. But it's like the same career path too, because they were badass and then they come to WWE, they get stuck doing commentary and shit.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely see that. But like Taz, like you didn't really like the way Paul Heyman booked Taz. You thought that he could fucking whoop anybody. He can't. He had whooped an Ultimate Fighter. He fucking whooped everybody. Fucking Jericho tapped. Fucking Sabu tapped. You know, like everybody tapped. And then finally, who did Taz beat after a year-long feud to win the championship? Shane Douglas. Like that was the passing of the torch. That was ECW's only Austin type moment. Only fucking like changing of the guard. And that was somebody that they built up over years to then become the flag bearer. And then he got signed by WWE, did his thing, and fucking now he's commentator. How do you not have him on? He could be number one on your list.
Yeah, I thought about putting him on my list, or well, when I was thinking about a top 5. But yeah, he's just right outside the top 5. Honorable mention.
Yeah, Raven. Raven was on. He's the graphic for this week's episode. Like, how is he not on your list? You know, like, you know.
What about me?
So, you know, like he was a very revolutionary character. It was the first.
What
time,
about Raven?
You know, it was like he was like emo motherfucker. You know, he was like
he was great.
He was great. He was great.
He's known like he was loved in all 3 of the big promotions. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. He was Raven in all 3 promotions.
Okay.
When you said that at first, I was like Johnny Polo. I was like, wait a second, but no, he won the Hardcore Championship in WWF. So out of those guys, RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer, New Jack, Dudley, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. Who's the next to come off the list? Who's the next to come off that list? I guess New Jack.
Yeah, New Jack. You gotta leave Raven on there for sure.
Okay. So now I'm down to RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer, Dudley, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. Who comes off the list next?
How many is this?
That's 8.
Say the first couple again. Say the first couple.
RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer. Dudley, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. Who comes off the list?
Either Taz,
Sabu. Yeah. Oh, what? Dude, they're in my top 3. They have to be.
Both of them?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why this one is so hard for me.
Douglas got to stay. Raven's got to stay.
Okay, let's take a break from that. Let's take a break. Let's talk about some of the underrated guys in ECW. Once I saw some people's lists, I started remembering some of the guys that you're like, God damn, like, those motherfuckers could go. Those were interesting-ass motherfuckers. And then, like, you didn't really hear too much about them outside of ECW. 5 guys that come to mind. Hack Myers, Mikey Whipwreck, J.T. Smith, Balls Mahoney, and Stevie Richards. What do you know about any of those guys?
I do. I see Stevie Richards in my DDP yoga videos when I work out.
What do you do? Just watch them?
Yeah.
Or do you actually work out?
Hell yeah, dude! I'm fucking
Remember shit.
Athletic.
J.T. Smith.
Bang!
J.T. Smith was J.T. Smith was a black guy, right? Who was like, he's like, I'm from South Philadelphia. He goes, I'm Italian. He was a black guy. He's like, I'm Italian. I'm black Sicilian, right? And fucking boy, did they hate him. He was like, I'm full-blooded Italian. So then he starts this group called the Full-Blooded Italians. That like nobody in the group was Italian. Joey Styles always said they couldn't find Italy on a map of Italy, right? It was all non-Italians. There was only one Italian guy, I think, ever legit, and that was Lil Guido. Of like the 12 members of the full-blooded Italians, the FBI, only one actual Italian. And boy, did that piss off Joey Styles. He was Italian as fuck. But he's like, Mamma mia, Papa Pete, you know, he's like super fucking like stereotypical.
Are there any current day stars you think would have been good back in ECW?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because, like, with this generation of wrestlers, I could truly say, I mean, besides like the Undertaker and I guess John Cena, like none of these guys even worked in an era where they got to do their own thing on the highest level.
Oh, right.
You know, like they've been told what to do. So it's hard, like, it's hard to judge any guys that are in there now. Like any of the motherfuckers that came from Ring of Honor. You know, the Adam Cole, the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and all those guys, Roddy Strong, those guys were doing great in ECW. You know, work ethic wise.
Dean Ambrose, maybe?
I mean, like, you know, probably, but I feel like Dean Ambrose, like, hasn't given a shit for the last 8 years. You know, he's just like, man, whatever. You know, I don't know. That's just me judging as a fan. You know, he's just kind of like coasting a little bit.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, that's what fucking Austin told him on his podcast, and I guess he got all bitchy about it.
Did he?
Yeah, not like, kind of, but like, Austin told him that on his podcast.
Well, fucking good.
Yeah.
Good. It's fucking, he's legit.
Hell yeah.
How you gonna argue that? Oh, hell yeah.
He told him you need to, like, take risks or whatever, some shit. Like,
he got butthurt about it? Good.
yeah.
Good.
Well, I don't know. I don't think, like, outwardly he got butthurt, but, like, later on, I guess he was, like, bitchy about it.
Good fucking little whiny ass bitch.
Yeah.
Go out there and fucking make your mark, dog. You know?
Hell yeah.
Fucking guys at Mikey Whipwreck, who was the first like great underdog story. You know, who knows? I guess the 1, 2, 3 kid came first, but Mikey Whipwreck won the big title, so and then beat Austin. That was great. Stevie Richards was a guy that fucking underutilized in every promotion besides ECW. That guy was fucking talented as shit, hilarious. Balls Mahoney could go with anybody, legit ass wrestler. Had your body style though, you know, but he could fucking go with anybody.
Oh yeah. What about where's the Dudley Boys at?
Alright, we wanna go back to the list.
I don't know.
What? They're not on my fucking underrated list. I'm done with my underrated though.
Oh, those are just your underrated?
Yeah, just underrated guys. Let's go back to the main list.
Was Steiner ever in ECW?
Steiner Brothers had a couple matches there, but you know, nothing to I wouldn't even consider them an ECW tag team. They came in and like, you know, did a couple things real quick. But like, dude, the tag teams in ECW were ridiculous. The Dudley Boys, Eliminators, Impact Players, Triple Threat, the Gangstas, the FBI, fucking great tag teams. We could sit here and I could talk about this shit for fucking hours. But we're gonna try to keep it to an hour. What are we at? 32 minutes. All right, back to the main list. RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer, Dudley Boys, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. I'm going to go ahead and take the Dudley Boys off just because they're a tag team. And they can make another list. They'll make the top of the tag team ECW list for sure. So now I'm down to 7.
Did they have Spike with them the whole time, or was he did he come on later?
So the Dudley Boys, I don't know exactly how they started, but when they started, neither Bubba nor Devon were part of the Dudley Boys.
Oh, no shit?
Right, yes. It was like Dudley, and fucking Dances with Dudley, I think. And then they had, like, Big Dick Dudley came along.
Yeah.
And then Bubba came along. And then, like, Stein Guy Dudley came in there somewhere. And then Devon came shortly after fucking Bubba did, and like took over the whole crew. The Dudley Boys had many, and then Spike came along. You know, Spike was one of the last additions, I believe, to the Dudley.
I didn't know it was that many. I thought it was just the bro.
Goes deep.
Damn, dude.
The Dudley Boys, man, ECW had so many great cliques too. Like the Full-Blooded Italians were a great crew. The Dudley Boys were a fucking monumental crew. They could just what they would do on pay-per-views, they would just come out and talk shit to the crowd on pay-per-views for like 15 minutes before their match. They just pissed off everybody to like the fullest. We're like, I want to fucking kill the Dudley Boys. But there's like 8 of them in the ring. Big Dick Dudley, like, 26-inch arms. Big Dick Dudley. All right, so back to the list. I'm down to 7. RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Dreamer, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. Who do I take off next? Who, like?
Probably either Dreamer or Douglas. Or Taz. You got Taz in your top 3 though, right?
I mean, I think. So
okay, let's do it one by one. Look at them one by one. Like. Taz.
Okay, well then I'm going to take off Dreamer. If I got to narrow this down, I'm going to take off Dreamer because he never had to be the guy in ECW. He was never like he was like your most reliable guy. He's like that chick you always know you can go fuck. You know, like good old reliable. You know? So now I'm down to 6. RVD, Sabu, Sandman, Shane Douglas, Taz, Raven. All those guys, except RVD, held the big title. But I can't take RVD off the list.
I have RVD pretty high on mine, so I don't know. You said Shane Douglas?
Shane Douglas threw it on and said he was the original ECW champion. He was the one that they used to build up Taz to finally give him a championship. How can you take Shane Douglas off the top 5 list?
Let's look at how many spots are left.
I have to take one more off to get to my 5.
So we're at 6. Okay, so
RVD, Sabu, Sandman. Okay, Sabu, he was the poster child for ECW.
I say you gotta drop Sabu.
Get the fuck out of here.
Got it.
Really? Why?
How about it?
Why?
I mean,
he was the poster child for ECW.
Okay, so Sabu versus Raven, who?
Raven was such a monumental character.
Raven's over Sabu, bro.
Raven, I think you just made my choice for me. It's Raven is off the list. I mean, for me, you know, because but Raven was there when ECW formed.
No more. Hit the road. Jack.
He's out.
I'm picturing him like
Johnny. What about me? And we're like, how about it?
Love Raven.
I think I came up with my list. Alright, so let's see, anything to talk about before that? The way that ECW fucking showcased light heavyweights, the cruiserweights, was fucking incredible. That period from once WWE and ECW started nabbing up all their top guys, I think ECW really relied a lot on the smaller guys to kind of carry some of the workload. The guys like Tajiri, Super Crazy, Lil Guido, Jerry Lynn, Taka Michinoku, a lot of those guys. Do you remember watching any of those 3-ways and shit in the fucking? No. No.
What is your favorite match, though? Your favorite ECW match?
That's a really hard one. Because, the one that I probably watched the most is Born to Be Wired with Sabu and Terry Funk in a fucking barbed wire match. And it was so brutal that it was the last barbed wire match ECW ever did.
No shit.
Yeah, they're like, we're done after this.
God damn. That must be for ECW to say that.
Right.
It's been a fucking crazy match.
Well, it was okay, so up to that point, when barbed wire matches, what they would do is they would take out the ropes and they would just have strands of barbed wire like they were ropes. So there was only 3 strands of barbed wire.
Right.
So you get thrown into that shit and it fucking, it all bends and whatever the fuck. But in the Born to Be Wired match, they went all zigzag through it and it was like a mesh cage instead of 3 stripes. So dude, the match ended where Sabu fucking wrapped himself in barbed wire and then fucking jumped off the ring, put Terry Funk through a table who was wrapped in barbed wire on the table, and then they got conjoined together to where they kind of both got back into the ring. They had to get pushed into the ring they're all fucking wrapped together, and then they try to get out, and it was no getting out. Sabu just kind of leans on him. 1, 2, 3, and it was a title change. So it was awesome, but it was gross, and then they'd get all cut out and shit.
God damn, dude.
But so many matches, fucking Sabu and Scorpio's 30-minute draw for the TV title, '96 was great. Fucking Sabu and Rob Van Dam against Hakushi and Hayabusa at Heatwave '98. There's so many fucking wow matches.
What about Cena versus RVD?
As far as what that has to be the most monumental match in ECW history.
That's just fucking crazy, dude. That's like going.
That has to be.
They weren't piping in fucking music or crowd noise on that match,
Dog.
dude.
The atmosphere, both of those one night stands was fucking holy shit. I wish I could have been there. I watched both of them. You know, I'm like, I teared up when I saw RVD win that title because I was like, yeah, like they gave it to him. You know, I love how WWE pays off stories. That's why Rob Van Dam has to be on my top 5. You know, it was hard for me to take this list from 12 down to 5, but I got it down there. We could do separate episodes about feuds, tag teams, light heavyweights, all that shit in ECW. But we got to school you up more, John Atkins. All right, let's get to it. We are 40 minutes in. Let's do our top 5. Go with your number 5.
Dudley Boys.
Great list. My number 5, Shane Douglas. It was your number 4.
Shane Douglas.
My number 4 is the Sandman. Held the ECW Championship the most. Who's your number 3?
Tommy Dreamer.
It was hard for me to not have Dreamer on my list. My number 3 is Sabu. Who's your number 2?
What about me? What about Raven?
I'm not mad Raven didn't make my list, but it was hard not to have him on there. My number 2 is Rob Van Dam. Who's your number 1?
Mr. Monday Night.
Rob Van Dam.
Hell yeah.
It was hard for me to not make RVD my number 1, but just the story with Taz and how that was their star. Like, that was their homegrown star. It was the one and only time that you got a payoff as good as you could get with a homegrown person. They did a great payoff for Terry Funk on the first pay-per-view, but the payoff for Taz, what a story. That's my list. So here, give me your 5 through 1.
Dudley Boys, Shane Douglas, Tommy Dreamer, Raven, RVD, number 1.
Shane Douglas, Sandman, Sabu, RVD, Taz. What a great list.
Taz is your number 1? Okay.
Taz is my number 1, yeah. I want to read some lists. I don't want to read all of them because there were a ton of them. Biggie Biggs. Had one half of the heavy hitter. Says Hack Myers, JT Smith, RVD, Mike Awesome, and Taz.
Oh, Mike Awesome.
Mike Awesome, man. But to me, I don't think he makes any other list besides top feuds.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Awesome wasn't on my list because he did ECW dirty. Gabe says, this is number 1 through 5, Taz, RVD, Lance Storm, Jerry, Little Guido. Lance Storm, I don't think he ever held anything besides the Tag Team Championship. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Blake Peck says, Tommy Dreamer, RVD, Lance Storm, Cactus Jack, Rhino.
Was Dean Malenko in ECW?
She's had a 6 to 9 months. Not long. A lot of people had a cup of tea in there. Mondo Perez says Terry Funk, Sabu, Shane Douglas, RVD, Tommy Dreamer. He said, fuck it, I'm doing 10. Raven, Sandman, Taz, Public Enemy, Dudley Boys. How could you forget the Public Enemy? I want to talk about quintessential ECW.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Read a couple more. Oh, Nick Lovin says CM Punk, Mr. McMahon, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Thorne, Big Show. How can you not love that list? Victor Murphy. This is one of my favorite lists. New Jack, New Jack, New Jack, New Jack, New Jack. A lot of these lists look a lot like ours. I'm trying to find different lists that have different people on them. Half of the current Fist Combat Tag Team Champions, Pickle Jim says it was really hard to do 5. Sergio Alexander, can't argue this list. Zombie. Do you remember the Zombie from WWE's ECW? Matt Sells, former highlighted list giver. Dreamer, RVD, Raven, Taz, Jerry Lynn. Can't argue with that. Derek Downey, he comes to our Fist Combat shows. He said, Iran Rotten. I know he meant Ian Rotten, but Iran Rotten would be an awesome character for Fist, don't you think? He'd be like Iranian and a punk rocker. That was Lucia's joke. He says, Iran Rotten, Public Enemy, Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy Snuka, we can all agree, he murdered it.
He is hardcore, dude.
He murdered it. He murdered it.
Ultimate Deathmatch.
Baron Roadsta. RVD, Sabu, Raven, Dudley's Taz, honorable mention to Dreamer and Sandman. Yeah, man, it was really hard for me to come up with a list of 5. Holy shit.
What's the highest someone had Cactus Jack on their list?
I'm not going through that shit. So many people fucking answered the list this week. And I got a fucking big, hey, this is really hard to do feedback from that. It was hard. It was hard for me to do it.
That's why they leave it up to the professionals.
What were some of your favorite ECW? Like, what were some of the most memorable and your favorite moments?
I would say like both like the beginning would be Shane Douglas, throwing down the title and everything. And that's kind of like how it started off, and then it basically ending like like Cena and RVD, like beginning and ending. Kind of how I look at it.
Even though Cena and RVD, that was the beginning of WWE's version of ECW.
No.
But that doesn't count at all, right? That's why I love Lovin's list. It was great. He was like, great, big show, Kevin Thorne. I was like, what about the zombie, bro? How did you not put the zombie on that? But yeah, man, like going back and watching it, I see a lot of things that I like to emulate with Fist Combat, just the way they build characters, the way they, put storylines together. What are you smirking about? You're just stoned over there?
I can picture Randy Orton in ECW. I think he would have been a good ECW guy.
I mean, Nick Gage, Slack, those guys, like, fucking, dude, they'd be incredible in ECW. Like, even like Effie, you know who Effie is? He's like super gay. That's his thing. He'd be great in that. Joey Ryan would be great in ECW. But as far as like WWE guys, it's hard to tell because they're not really conditioned to show you their limits.
Yeah, I can't really, other than Ambrose, the one I could even think of.
But like we're great guys. Like, it would be amazing to see Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan under an ECW banner.
Oh, Daniel! Ugh. I can imagine Daniel Bryan.
Any of CM Punk, any of those guys, Samoa Joe, that like did some shit when they were in Ring of Honor. The Briscoe boys, the Briscoe brothers from fucking Ring of Honor. They'd be great in ECW. Seidel was good in ECW. That's what he did his thing, man.
How long before they started doing like the barbed wire and all that, razor wire and all that shit? When they first started, or did it take a while for it to start escalating?
Barbed wire was used. They used it effectively to build the feuds. That's what that kind of shit was. It wasn't just like you didn't just do it just for the hell of it. It was like the culmination of a feud. I was like, all right, well, we've done everything else. Now we're gonna rip each other's flesh, So it was used effectively throughout wrestling history, and I think most effectively in ECW, and kind of like set them apart because you didn't really see a whole lot of that in wrestling at the time.
So I feel like that's like the first thing a lot of people think of when they think of ECW, is like barbed wire and shit.
Well, I mean, it was on the fucking logo.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like ECW, like out of all the figures that are on my wall and all the figures that I ever bought, the ECW ones are the ones I cherish the most. Because it really had a very short shelf life. It didn't really exist for like 7 whole years. And just the amount of stars that came out of ECW, it's amazing. You really got to see how good some of these guys can be. Anything else to add?
What about me? What about Raven?
What about him?
I don't know.
What about him? I would have loved to be in ECW. Fucking Jesus Christ. You know how much fun I would have had in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
I'd probably be dead by now, though. Well, I think that'll do it. Follow us on all social media at PW Idiot List. And we're on YouTube now, too, right?
Yeah.
With Johnny A.
Yeah.
How about that?
We're going to start uploading all the episodes there. Check us out.
I thought we already did.
We got a couple up there. We do them,
Rocking and rolling. You follow me at Dirty Ron McDonald. Follow our independent wrestling promotion at Fist Combat TV. We got a big show coming up on June 13th. The King Nick Gage returns to the ring to face Slice fucking Boogie. Boy, I am excited about it. I spent a lot of my day today just fucking sending Boogie messages, like hyping him up. I'm like, you show these motherfuckers what you're all about. Like, you want to go toe-to-toe with anybody in wrestling? This is your fucking guy. You show the world. You know, like just hyping him up. I can't wait for that match. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Nick Gage, I said last time I saw him, it was here in San Diego.
When you gave me mustard to spit.
He got mustard all over him. Hell yeah.
Did you go to the November one?
Yeah.
I did the glass.
Yeah.
Never do that again.
With the light bulb?
Yeah, it was me against Mance Warner.
Oh yeah. I got a light bulb all over my beard.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Dope. Did you drink it to get superpowers?
It didn't go in it. It just got stuck to the bottle.
Oh, you fucking whiny ass bitch. I'm just kidding. Follow our independent wrestling promotion at Fist Combat TV. We got Drive-In Wrestling 1, 2, and 3 streams up on our Facebook page. Well, I'm going to be watching that right after this. Got any other shout-outs? Tell them where to find you.
I'm finally back on Twitter. No
Thank
longer
you,
banned.
Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, no longer banned on Twitter or
What do you
Instagram.
thank Donald Trump for?
It really did, because I think that same day he signed the executive order, they unlocked my account, and I was like, fuck yeah. I'm back, baby. Still banned on Facebook, though. At Real John Atkins.
Zuckerberg.
And I'll also be there June 13th. Fist Combat.
Well, dude, this was a lot of fun. We got a bunch of episodes coming up.
Oh, what about, you got another thing you got coming up now.
What?
You get your school, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing a wrestling school. I'm only accepting 10 students, too. The list is already half filled up, so, yeah, so a wrestling school. We are teaching the next generation of weekend warriors, not the next generation of WWE superstars. We're trying to make it palatable and easy for the regular Joe to get himself or herself into the wrestling business. It's not if you're not trying to be a WWE wrestler, don't come here like a lot of wrestling schools are. We're working with people that are just, trying to put their toe in rather than, go balls deep. So.
Damn, Fist Combat's taking over.
Well, I like, the way I'm describing it to people is, if you're coming to us trying to be the next WWE superstar, this is a great entry-level thing for you to get into. Teach the very basics. And if after our 6-month course, you're ready to go on to bigger and better schools, I'll give you information to the best schools in the country. So, you don't have to be the most in shape person or, the best athlete to come and learn something at our wrestling school. You can learn the basics, get yourself in the wrestling business, and, learn a thing or two.
I mean, Fist Combat is exclusive. It's the #1 wrestling promotion in the world right now, dude. Highest drawing, highest selling.
We're definitely the highest drawing wrestling promotion in the world right now.
Biggest, #1.
We're #1 as far as live attendance goes.
So yeah, they gotta watch out,
World's gotta watch out. And now we're gonna start training an army? Get the fuck out of here. Alright, that'll do it. What a fun episode. Episode number 6. Check out all of our shit on all the platforms. You can find podcasts on Spotify, just like Joe Rogan, iTunes, like everybody else, and all the other ones that you've never heard of.
Yeah, we're about to get a $100 million deal on Spotify.
Spotify, suck my dick. They ain't paying us shit. Alright, that'll do it. Thanks for listening. Take it easy. Got 2 words for you. Suck it. Suck it for real.
The city of losers.
Easy. Kings, you help.